There's this moment that keeps repeating in my life. Maybe you know it too. It's that quiet second where you're about to start something. Not something huge, just something small. Open the laptop, send the message, go outside, hit record. And then your brain starts talking. Wait, not yet. You're not ready. What if this isn't good? What if people judge you? So you don't do it. You scroll, you wait, you plan, you overthink. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, or next week, or when things feel right. But somehow, they never feel right. I used to think motivation was something that just appears, like you wake up one day and suddenly feel this rush of energy and clarity, like everything clicks and now you're finally ready to become the person you've been thinking about. But that moment doesn't come, or if it does, it doesn't stay. The truth is, most of the time you won't feel ready, you won't feel motivated, you won't feel confident, and that's exactly why nothing happens. Because you're waiting for a feeling that was never meant to come first. We've been taught this backwards. We think motivation leads to action, but in reality, it's the other way around. Action comes first, then motivation follows. You don't feel like doing something and then do it. You do it even when you don't feel like it, and somewhere along the way, the feeling catches up. That's the part nobody really talks about. They show you the finished product, the success, the clean version of the story, but they don't show you the hesitation before the first step, the doubt, the ugly starts, the failed attempts, the days when nothing worked but they still showed up anyway. Because that part is boring, it's uncomfortable, it doesn't look good on camera, but that's where everything actually begins. I remember times when I spent more energy thinking about doing something than actually doing it. Hours planning, watching tutorials, comparing myself to others, trying to make sure everything would be perfect before I even started. And because of that, I stayed stuck. There's something strange about overthinking. It feels productive. It feels like you're doing something. But in reality, it's just a way to avoid the real work. Because the real work is uncomfortable. Starting is uncomfortable. Being bad at something is uncomfortable. Not knowing what you're doing is uncomfortable. Feeling like you're behind is uncomfortable. But that's the price of growth. You can't skip that part. You can't think your way into progress. At some point, you just have to move. And it doesn't have to be big. That's another lie we tell ourselves. We think we need to take a huge step, something dramatic, something life-changing. But most of the time, progress starts with something small. Open the file, write one sentence, do 5 minutes, record one take, send one message. That's it. It sounds almost too simple, but that's exactly why it works, because it removes the pressure. You're not trying to change your whole life in one day. You're just starting. And starting is everything. Because once you start, things shift. Your mind settles, the resistance gets quieter. You stop thinking about doing the work and you actually do it. And even if it's messy, even if it's not good, even if you feel like you're just guessing your way through it, you're moving. That's already more than most people. There's this idea that you need confidence before you act, but confidence doesn't come before action, it comes from it. You build confidence by doing things you're not confident in. That's the only way. Every time you show up, even when you don't feel ready, you prove something to yourself, not to other people, to yourself. You prove that you can move even when your mind is full of doubt. You prove that fear doesn't have to control you. You prove that you can keep going. And that slowly changes how you see yourself. You stop seeing yourself as someone who just thinks and plans. You start seeing yourself as someone who does. And that identity shift is powerful, because once you believe you're someone who takes action, everything else becomes easier. You don't negotiate with yourself as much. You don't wait for the perfect moment. You just start. It doesn't mean it's always easy. It doesn't mean you won't have days where you feel stuck again. You will. There will be days when you don't feel like doing anything. Days when everything feels pointless. Days when you question why you even started. That's normal. But the difference is you don't stop. You've built the habit of starting, of doing, of showing up. So even on those days, you do something small, and that keeps the momentum alive. Because momentum is fragile. Once you stop for too long, it's hard to get it back. But when you keep going, even in small ways, it builds. And over time, those small actions stack up. One day becomes a week becomes a month becomes something real. Something you can actually look at and say, I made this. And it didn't come from waiting, it came from doing. There's also something else people don't talk about enough. Fear doesn't go away. You might think that once you start, once you get better, once you gain experience, the fear disappears. It doesn't. It just changes. At the beginning, you're scared of starting. Later, you're scared of failing. Then you're scared of not being good enough. Then you're scared of losing what you built. It's always something. So if you're waiting for the fear to disappear before you act, you'll be waiting forever. The goal isn't to eliminate fear. The goal is to act despite it, to feel it and still move, to hear that voice in your head and not let it decide for you. Because at the end of the day, that voice is trying to protect you. It wants you to stay comfortable. It wants you to avoid risk. But growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when you step into something uncertain, something unfamiliar, something that challenges you. And yes, that means you might fail. You might make something that doesn't work. You might put effort into something that doesn't pay off. You might look back and think, that wasn't good. But that's part of it. Failure isn't the opposite of progress. It's part of progress. Every mistake teaches you something. Every bad attempt gets you closer to a better one. You don't learn by thinking about doing something. You learn by doing it, messing up, and trying again. That's the process. And it's not glamorous. It's not fast. It doesn't always feel rewarding. But it works. So if there's something you've been putting off, something you keep thinking about but never actually start, maybe this is your sign. Not a big sign, not a dramatic moment, just a quiet reminder. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. Right now, with whatever you have. Open the laptop, pick up the camera, write the first line, take the first step. It might be messy, it might be slow, it might not look like much, but it's real. And that's what matters. Because at some point, you have to stop thinking about the life you want and start building it. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now. Just do it.